Good morning, coming to you live from my bed. Just woke up. Actually, woke up a long time ago. I'm just getting up. Anyway, let's get into this article. A lot of brain food is good for your health. All right, so this news feed is coming from Bitcoin.com, written by Kevin Helms. Fed Chair Powell sees real need for more appropriate DeFi regulation, citing very significant structural issues. At the beginning of all this, I was saying to myself and to others that regulation is a good thing. We shouldn't be afraid of it, right? But it was already known from back then that there was going to be regulations no matter what. Because for everything to be equally seen by both parties, and by both parties I mean the central bank and the decentralized system that is emerging and then upon us, there has to be some kind of eye to eye, right? So regulation was always in play, in works to start with. So, but is it important now that we're seeing how much reach and power they want from crypto industry? Fed Chair Jerome Powell on DeFi regulation. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell talked about the regulation of decentralized finance Tuesday during a panel discussion on digital finance hosted by Bank of France. The monetary policy normalization that we're seeing quoted all over the world, Powell said again, all it did was simply reveal what we've long pointed out as significant structural issues in the DeFi ecosystem and conflict of interest, he stressed. Within the DeFi ecosystem, there are these very significant structural issues around transparency, lack of transparency. Be more specific, Jerome. Jerome continued to say the good news, I suppose, is that from the financial stability standpoint, the interaction between the DeFi ecosystem and the traditional banking system and the traditional finance system is not that large at this point. So we were able to witness the DeFi winter. It didn't have significant effects on the banking system and broader international stability, Powell detailed. Not yet. That's a good thing, he exclaimed. I think it demonstrates the weakness and the work that needs to be done around regulation carefully and thoughtfully, and gives us a little bit more time. You see, that's all they care about is buying time. However, the Financial Reserve Chairman warned that the situation he just described will not persist indefinitely. He clarified that ultimately that's not a stable equilibrium, and we need to be very careful about how crypto activities are taken within the regulatory parameters elaborated. He elaborates. In any case, there is a real need for more appropriate regulation so that as DeFi expands and starts to touch more and more retail customers, appropriate regulation is in place. I think Jerome Powell is starting to be a believer. Jerome Powell, starting to be a believer, guys. Believer in blockchains and blockchains technologies and cryptocurrencies. And the technology and the user case and the user operability that can be found on these systems. Welcome, Jerome. But Jerome got to take his time, though. He can't say too much. So Christine Lagarde, the president of European Central Bank, ECB, and Augustin Karsten, the general manager of the Bank of International Settlements, which we've been hearing a lot about, the BIS, also participated in the discussion. Both concurred with Powell and similarly stress the importance of appropriately regulating the DeFi ecosystem. But what does appropriately regulation mean? What does appropriate regulation what does appropriate regulation means to the DeFi ecosystem? What does it mean? What does it mean? And of course, these guys are going to do all of this. What is the first thing that a corporation do when they're interested in an industry? What is the first thing, guys? Can anyone answer? What is the first thing a corporation do when they're interested, when they find interest in a specific or in an industry? They get their lawyers, just like what Disney did. They call up their attorneys to check the books, to make sure everything is good and factual and structural and everything is clear before they even start putting their team on it. Of course, they're looking into it. They're doing their research. But before they hit that pilot test phase button, the break has been old. Attorney needs to go over all of this language. Check all the languages and make sure that everything is in correct place. Just so we, no bad name, no bad reputation. We're doing things by the book, or they're getting away with as much as possible, right? So, what did we learn from this article? What did I learn? I learned that even the Fed, the language in the Fed is starting to change. Before, they used to pity this technology and look down upon it. Now, they're seeing great interest. They're seeing the move. They're seeing the strength, the force of this industry and the adoption. They're seeing the numbers, guys. The blockchain doesn't hide numbers. And I'm sure they can find data from their central banks that most people are taking their money out and they're investing in other things. They're seeing the loss. So they have to merge. They have to merge and be one, or try to be one. But I truly believe that they're going to boost up CBDCs so that they can fight Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin and Cardano represents the true decentralization of the ecosystem. I'm sure there are other platforms too as well. But wherever you have a platform or technology such as Bitcoin and Cardano that does not have anyone controlling the system is already built and it's in place. No one is controlling it. You have true decentralization. So if you find a project that is like that or aiming to be like that, but there's a distinct difference. Aiming to be is not there, and is there. Bitcoin is there, Cardano is there. True decentralized platforms. They will try their best to fight this system. And part of their best is to regulate it and join it. Learn it. Before that they can divide and conquer. Like, yo, come on now, people. Like, share, subscribe. Wagwan. Let me know your thoughts on this.